in. We're in the infant stages, obviously, of building our identity, kind of building our personality. And there's really kind of two things that we need to get done in helmets. And first of all is establishing the pace with which we're going to move and play at. I think that's first. And then the other thing is, which is as important as that, is the things that we value culturally. That's in terms of effort. From point A to point B, it's taking care of the football, it's making the routine plays, it's the fundamentals, it's the details. So a good first start, but just like anything, football is meant to be played in pads. But I really liked our approach last night. I've liked our mindset in meetings. We have a lot of guys where it's really their first time around the track, so it's their first lap, so they're finding out our work capacity. I think that's the other thing is with as many newcomers as we have is the work capacity that's expected, within the structure of practice. But I thought it was a good start overall.
Coach, carryover from the spring,
yeah.
How much of that did you see today that helps you kind of maybe have a little step ahead in the fall camp?
Well, that's what I was really anxious to see is not only the carryover from the spring, but really the carryover from the summer as well. And the accumulative effect. Like we could go out here right now and run our 2-minute offense, which in years past we've never been able to do that. So I think we're ahead with the older guys. I think the volume of young players, it's been a wake-up call, especially at the receiver position. But like today, for instance, day one install, we've had that 4 times already. So we repeated it actually the 5th time today, and it'll be the same tomorrow. So, it's one thing, and we talked about our team, we have to play football. We just can't run the play that's called, whether run the defense that's called or the play that's called. We need to execute it. We need to play football. What does that mean? That's the thinking part of it. That aspect, down and distance, formation recognition, opponent recognition, time on the clock, field position, all those things that go. And then the other thing that we really, really stress, and it'll be a point of emphasis throughout the entire course of the season, is our ball disruptions on defense and having a mentality that that's our ball. When you look at games, we call it the double positive. Most games are decided by 2 things, explosive plays and turnovers or takeaways. So we've really tried to hone in on that, study that, doing some different things defensively, doing some different things structurally. And then we'll continue to meet on it, show examples of it, and work to get better in those aspects of the game.
How are you feeling about the depth on the offensive line at this point?
Well, I don't think you could ever have enough depth, and I think we've found that out. I feel pretty good about our top 5 right now, but it's kind of the same thing as who's going to be number 6, who's going to be number 7, who's going to be number 8. And so I think that's the biggest thing for us in that competition. I see some players growing and developing. Elijah Zolikoffer's had a really good offseason. So now what can he do, especially when the pads go on? There's only so much you can tell. You can see movement skills, but we have to promote toughness in our program every single day, and we have to get much better at that. And when you really look at toughness, it's the ability to run the ball in the 4th quarter. In those runs that were 3 and 4 yards in the first 3 quarters, those become 13 and 14-yard runs in the 4th quarter. And that's kind of the mindset that we're talking about. But, I think we've improved greatly up front, but now it's going to be that depth that we talk about all the time, and the quality of depth, not just having depth, but the quality of depth.
But the other side, the flip side of that on the defensive line, with the depth of the situation, or and starters too.
I think the biggest thing is going to be our defensive tackles, and then depth at defensive end. I think we got 2 really good players, and Kieron Crawford, and Ethan Hassler, Denard Flowers have done some good things. Blaine Toll has to continue to progress, but we need more depth there. But really, I think the key for us defensively is going to be what we do in the interior of our defensive front.
What's just going to be the approach essentially these first couple days before the pads come on? You already mentioned kind of the style, the pace you want to play. What other things do you just want to stress?
Fundamentals and details, and I think again establishing the pace, the tempo, the fundamentals, the details, the special teams, but also again our culture. taking care of the football, more ball disruptions on defense, leveraging the football, all those things, being a great tag-off football team, that's all about your body position. So you can actually work on tackling when you have pads on by the way you tag off. All those little things of winning football. And I think the big thing is for us, can we get all 9 position groups to play winning football? If we do that, we got a chance to have a pretty good football team.
What are your just thoughts on the quarterbacks after day one?
Yeah, I think evolving. Nobody's ready to be the starter, not even close, I think, for them. Just like we talked about at media days, they have to continue to get better and better. They want to. I think overall the rhythm, the timing has to pick up, the accuracy has to pick up. I thought we were trying to be too perfect today. Instead of trusting your reads, trust your mechanics, you throw with your feet, get back there, grip it and rip it. So those are things that I think that whole position will continue to evolve, because I know they're all really, really good competitors.